All right, so beginning this week, I will be facilitating a Bible study for women based on this book called How Not to Read the Bible. And I had the opportunity to actually choose the book and resource that I'd be using. And I chose this book because there's just so many questions, in particular, as I talk to women about the Bible, and I've heard the complaints, I've heard some of the questions, and even just in my own study and own reading of the Bible, I've encountered some of these same questions and concerns. And I read this book last summer, last fall, and found it to be very informative, entertaining, thought-provoking, all those things, and caused me to do a little bit more research, a little more reading. And so I thought this would be a great resource and tool to use with this Bible study. And so the church sent out a survey to women, to some of the women in the church, to what they wanted to study and what they were interested in. And a lot of it came back just to study, just to learn what the Bible actually says. And so this book addresses some of those scriptures and topics that we just don't understand. Like, why does some of the scriptures seem to advocate treatment of women certain ways? Like, why does some of the scriptures seem to indicate that women are to be treated as property or not treated equally, or just treated differently? And it also addresses so the way it says is anti-woman. Why does the Bible sometimes seem to be anti-woman, anti-science, pro-violence, and pro-slavery? So those are some of the topics that this book addresses, and then some of the things that it talks about within the book is, right now when I'm actually, because I'm going back through and reading it again before the class starts this week, and right now it's going through the science part. It's like, well, did dinosaurs exist when Jesus was on Earth? And if you believe a certain way about the creation story, does that mean that the dinosaurs existed at the same time that Jesus walked the earth? And did Jesus ride dinosaurs? So there are some things, and he uses some of the memes that you actually will see posted on social media across different social media accounts. And he addresses those memes and points out some of the, I'll say fallacies about those memes, but just the miseducation on those. Because here's the thing, and this is the point that he makes throughout this book, the main point that he makes throughout this book, and this is the problem that many of us, and me included, I'm not saying, I'm not pointing fingers at other people because this is me included, is we tend to read one or two verses and take those verses out of context and use it for us, and we take that verse for us. The book, the Bible, was written, and I've been trying to, so first of all, let me finish that thought. Don't read a verse. And that's what he's getting at, how not to read the Bible. You don't read a verse. You have to know the Bible as a whole. One of the things my dad taught me, my dad was a Baptist preacher, one of the things he taught me is, you have to understand the Bible as a whole. When I would try to question him about Revelation, he would be like, no, you can't take that one book and understand that one book. You have to understand in the context of the entire Bible. And that's what this person is saying, is you have to understand these verses in the context of the entire Bible. You have to understand, what they're talking about. When you read something about the way that a woman's being treated, you have to understand in the context of that culture. And just as an aside, if you understand in the context of the culture, you'll understand how progressive God really was and the treatment of women in that culture. But anyway, you don't read the Bible through the lens of one verse. You read it through the lens of the context of the Bible. You read it through the lens of the context of the culture it was written for, because it was written for a particular culture. It was written for a particular time. It was the authors used particular literary style. So you've got poetry, you've got the law, And he does a really great visual. It's like the Bible is a library, and so you've got different types of books. So just like you walk into a library and you have different sections, you open the book of the Bible and you've got different sections of the Bible. And so it's not written all the same. And they're not written to the book was not written to us. So there's not a first Alabamians. There's not a second Huntsvillians. It was written to those people. And it is for us, but it's not directly to us. And that's a huge difference. So I am looking forward to going through this book with the ladies in the Bible study. And if you have questions about some of these funny things in the Bible or what some of the strange sounding verses are in the Bible, I encourage you to maybe pick this up, read it, and I may actually even do a book club or something on it too. I'm kind of tossing that around. But this I think is a great resource, and I'm looking forward to doing this book with the ladies in the Bible study.